God's message to rationalists. Deniers of God. BD number 5744. August 11, 1953. I want to speak to those who are not yet able to make the right decision, who are not unwilling to believe and yet cannot acknowledge me with conviction either, to those who oppose the knowledge which my representatives on earth want to make accessible to them with their intellectual knowledge. To those, who first want everything proven to them and believe that they can understand or refute it with their sharp intellect. Their knowledge kills the spirit. What is described as higher truth, what cannot be proven in an earthly sense, because compulsory faith may not be exercised in earthly life, cannot be fathomed scientifically, and even the sharpest human intellect is no guarantee for correct thinking on the spiritual level. I want to put this question to you humans: in which category of the works of creation do you place yourselves? Don't you realize that you are the only thinking and reasoning beings, whereas all other works of creation are unable to exhibit this thinking ability and freedom of thought? From this alone you can conclude that you were created by a power which is equally capable of thinking, which is merely infinitely powerful, for despite your faculty of thought you are incapable of creating living beings with the same faculty of thought. You cannot quote your offspring as evidence, since you do not create them yourselves but merely fit in with existing natural laws which also provide you with evidence of a lawgiver. Consider furthermore, is a natural force capable of thought? That is it able to bring beings into existence whose organism testifies of supreme wisdom? Would this natural force itself not have to be recognized and acknowledged as a being with an ability of thought and will, and thus be able to create and give life to expedient forms? And is the work of creation not sufficient evidence in itself even for the most intellectually astute philosophers? Indeed, would you be able to substantiate the non-existence of a being? Would you even be able to vaguely quote a comparison as evidence that a force brings forth orderly creations unless this force meets its match in a human being's will? Let a force become uncontrollably active and you will have a dreadful experience, but you will not be able to produce creations whose expedience and order you can admire. Thus, by virtue of your intellect alone you are able to acknowledge a supreme being which you have to regard as the creator of eternity. It truly does you no honor that you want to deny this being, that you merely want to explain his activity, which is visible to you in his creation, as the effect of an unguided force, that you thus want to base the emergence of creation on an unconscious and blind process. Such an explanation is truly no evidence of a correctly employed intellect. On the contrary, it is a defiant evasion which you are looking for because you do not want to acknowledge a God. For even with just a weak will both possibilities are considered first, and then a person will rather decide to accept than to reject the spiritually tangible power which reveals itself in creation. If you humans knew the serious effect or rejection a denial of a spiritually tangible deity has on your soul, you would also understand why I want to enlighten you, why I want to stimulate you to seriously think about it so that you will give your misguided thoughts the right direction of your own accord, so that you will be able to believe what seems unacceptable to you as long as you just make one-sided judgments, as long as you believe that you can intellectually ascertain the truth. But the belief in a God and Creator is necessary in order to make a connection with this God and Creator. And this connection with Him is the real purpose and goal of earthly life. Otherwise you would truly not have been allowed to embody yourselves on this earth, which was only created for the purpose of my living creation being able to re-establish the unity with God which He once had voluntarily severed. If, however, you deny a God, then it means that you are still very distant from me. It signifies renewed opposition to me of your own free will, which will incur a dreadful fate in the beyond or a repeated banishment into matter when the end of this earth has arrived. Therefore I would like to address you and encourage you to think it through before it is too late, and even if your earthly knowledge is extensive, you will with certainty penetrate far more profound knowledge if you entrust yourselves to the One who has created you and who wants to be recognized as your God and Creator of eternity in order to then helpfully assist you. Amen.